All right, today we're going to talk about how to set up a drum set for maximum comfort. This is a really important thing because the more comfortable we are at our drum set, the more we're going to want to play. And of course, the more we play, the more we improve, and the more we improve, the more fun we're going to have. All right, so it all starts with the drum seat, or as many of us call it, the drum throne. So first, let's talk about the seat height. Notice that there is a slight downward angle from my hip to my knee. This way, when I'm playing in a heel up position like this, my knee is never higher up than my hip. One more thing I want to mention about how I'm positioning myself on the seat is notice how my legs naturally flare out this direction. So rather than lining my bass drum dead center with the seat, what that ends up doing is then I have to move the hi-hat over here a little, the snare drum over here a little bit, and then the hi-hat, it will be like this, and I'm in this kind of twisted position, so when I'm playing the rest of the kit, I'm kind of putting unnecessary strain on my lower back. So, what I'm going to do first is just start in this position, and then what I do is I just simply take my bass drum pedals and put them where my feet naturally fall. So we spoke about the slight down angle from the hip to the knee, but I also want to mention there's a slight forward angle from the knee down. And this helps to alleviate any kind of tension in the shin area, whether or not you're playing heel up or heel down. All right, a couple more things. Just like we don't want to sit too high or too low, we also don't want to sit too far back on the seat, because if I do, most of the weight of my leg is going into the cushion, so I'm going to sacrifice power. And if I'm sitting way too far forward, I just feel like I'm going to fall off the edge. So you just want to find that happy medium where you can maintain balance and power. So now that I've got my bass drum pedals set up at a good distance and angle, I'm just going to leave them right where they are and then bring my bass drum in. Now that I brought the bass drum in, I always like to just play for a little bit before I bring in the rest of the drum set, just to make sure that I'm really happy with positioning. So let's move on to the snare drum. What I'm going to do is just sit up nice and straight, really comfortable, and I'm just going to go like this. And there's a couple things that I want to have happen. Number one, I want the center of the drum to be right here, and the height and angle like this. However, what I'm going to do is rather than putting the snare drum exactly this height, I'm going to extend the fingers out, and that's where I'm going to put the drum. And the reason is, when I hit a drum or cymbal, basically any surface on the drum set, when I actually make contact, I don't want the butt end of the stick hitting my palm at the moment of contact, because at that point I'm transferring all that shock up the arm and will break sticks more often and we can get injured. And just like with the bass drum, before we add more of our drum set, we just want to sit and play and make sure things are comfortable. So I'm going to start just relax, resting on the snare drum, and then I'm just going to move my right arm over to here, and this is where the main playing area of my hi-hats are going to go. So a couple things to notice. My arms are relaxed at my side, and this hand is not crossed over this hand. It's just a little bit behind here, which gives me plenty of room to get the power that I want. Also, notice that the hi-hat pedal is in a little bit closer than my bass drum pedal, because I'm pulling the two cymbals together rather than like with the bass drum where I'm thinking of the beater as a ball bouncing off a wall. All right, now I'm going to hit my imaginary tom. So this is where I'm going to put the height, the center of the drum, and the angle of the drum. So again, you just want to play, make sure everything's really comfortable. Notice as I do this, I'm not reaching for it. I can just play all day and stay really relaxed. All right, same idea. We're going to go to the ride. I'm just going to go like this, and this is where we want the height, the sweet spot on the cymbal, and the angle. So today I'm going with one rack tom, and that's what's allowing me to get my ride cymbal right here. However, if you look at some of my older videos, I had actually 3 toms here. So rather than making my ride go further out this way, just simply move like this. So this way, the principle is the same. All right, now that we have our basic setup, we can start adding in all our cool little toys. And I'm going to use the same idea of trying to make everything super comfortable as far as height, distance, and angle. So let's start off with adding a splash cymbal. A cowbell. An X-hat and or stacker cymbal. A second crash cymbal. And last but not least, a second snare drum. So whether you play a minimalistic setup, a massive drum set, or something in between, the big picture is you always want to set the drum set up to you rather than the other way around. We shouldn't have to stare at each piece of equipment as we move around the set. The idea is you just want to put everything where it naturally wants to be. So this way, if you're looking at a music stand, or your band members, or the audience, you won't find that you're accidentally hitting your rims, or you hit a cymbal when you meant to hit a tom, or vice versa. Or worse yet, slamming your knuckles against your floor tom or your snare drum. So just take a little bit of time to just make everything super comfortable. And I hope this helps, and I'll see you on the next video.